This week, the 3 quotes that I wrote was all about death, because this subject have been approaching my life lately quite often. There are 2 types of death. One type of death is when you are living your life, but you feel dead inside. That's the death I think about quite often, ever since I was very young. I understand that if I don't fight for my own freedom, my whole life could just be punching cards every single day, then having some breathing room during the weekends. And another kind of death is the real death. Death comes for everyone at any moment, at any time. Life is unpredictable, and life is so precious that way. I was just having a conversation with a good friend of mine today. We were talking about one of his good friends struggling to fulfill the working schedule every single day. That's like working over 12 hours, even have to take the working calls during the weekends, and earning like maybe just a bit more than average, I would say. And I said to him that the only way to live a life of freedom is to actually try to build your little business, no matter how small it is. It's only when you can control your own schedule and time and workflow and workload, that's when you can feel at ease with your life. And I know most of the people wouldn't take that steps because the unknown is very scary. And I didn't want to take that step. I only choose that path because emotionally and spiritually I cannot live in that environment anymore. So my motivation was the pressure and the suffering and the unbearable day-to-day life that I just cannot continue anymore. And I think most people can deal with that. And for me, that's the one basic needs I want in my life. I want my freedom. I want a sense of freedom with my life. It's not to say that if you work for other people, you completely lose your freedom. Just that feeling you get when you get up every single day, the alarm clock, that pressure. Ever since I work for myself, I just sleep until I wake up. I have my own clock, and I decide when I go to work, when I take my day off. I think the mindset and the mental environments within you is different. But anyways, we were just having a conversation of how, his girlfriend wanted to change another job again, and I just told him that nothing is going to change as long as he's still working for a boss. If a boss demands that you need to work overtime, then you have to fulfill the boss' need unless you are your own boss. And regardless of what he or what you choose to do with your life, just be honest with yourself. Is this the life you want, or you just settling? Are you afraid to try? Do you have confidence in yourself? Do you have the curiosity to learn more, to get more knowledgeable about the working environment and the opportunity to earn new money? That's the only things. As long as you are curious and happy to learn about new things, I do not believe that you cannot find a way out. That's the path you can take only if you are someone like me who crave to live a life of freedom. Then that's the path you should take. Stop taking the unreasonable workload just because you don't want to create a job for yourself. You can do better. Once you decided it's time for you to change, you can do it. It's all up to you. As long as you're happy with your life, don't move, punch the cards. But if there's even a tiny little 1%, you feel like you could change, you wanted to change, then I really encourage you to explore, to learn new things, to explore new possibilities on any areas that you're interested in. You never know what learning could bring. And if you are feeling that inside, like I was couple years ago, then it is really time for you to change, because life waits for no one. Time is fleeting. Time is slipping by without noticing. Stop waiting if you are not happy. Use 2025 as your starting point. Get started. Do anything. Stay curious. Don't live a life that you feel dead inside. That is not a good way to live. What's the point of living if you are not enjoying your life? And the second kind of death is the actual physical death. I've been thinking about death quite often lately, and it's quite scary to me. And this morning I woke up to the news that some celebrity are the same age as me, in our late 40s. She died suddenly after 5 days of catching the COVID virus, which I call the beginning of January. It was excruciating, very painful, fever over 3 days, pain all over my body like ants are biting me, all that stuff. But the same situation, I made it. She didn't. And the impact that it had on me is that I come to realize that I have very little time left. I never really thought much about how I should structure my life. I would just always go with the flow, you know. If I feel like having a job, I work. If I feel like I want to write some music, I write. And if I feel like I wanted to make some films, I make. If I feel like I wanted to publish music, I'll publish them. Whenever I feel like is how I live my life. Ever since I've began to work for myself, I really abused that lifestyle that I built, that I worked very hard for, and that I built. I absolutely abused it. I lived more than 10 years of a very careless life. It is until COVID happened, all my steady income was destroyed, and I struggled after that for 3 years to rebuild another vendor business. Now I finally understand and realize that I didn't live a well-planned life when my life was good, when the income was good, and I was paying the price the past 3 years. And now as I live with more intention, and now as I understand that all my resentment and my depressed feelings was mostly caused because I gave myself too much freedom after work. I was not doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm a creative person within my bone, within my soul. When I give that up, I lost myself. In order to find some room to breathe, After the obstacles and struggles I'm facing when I'm trying to create my second vendor business, I let myself go. I just say, let's just take a breather. Let's do absolutely nothing after work because, all the shit that I take on work was enough for me. I just said to myself, I got nothing left. There's nothing else I needed to do right now. I just need to make sure that this business is going to, grow steady and I can once again work for myself and stand on my own feet and pay off the debts. And I thought it was enough just by working hard. But in reality, I was so lost, so confused, to a point one day when I was walking my dog, and there was one question pop into my head. I just asked myself, sadly, depressedly, negatively, I asked myself, what's the point of living my life? And at that point, I realized something went very wrong because my mind, my spirit was in a very bad place. And that question really scared me. And I was in a little bit panic at that moment. And then after that day, I spent a lot of time studying online, searching for the path, the direction that I should move myself to get myself back to a positive state of mind, because I'm a very positive person, even in a worse scenario. I will always tell myself, if I get through this, I'm going to make it. I'm not giving up. When all my positivity was lost and asking myself this kind of a dark question, that's the moment I wake up to the reality that I cannot only just live to survive. I need to do more with my life. That's the only way I can feel I'm enjoying my life. I'm living a happy, creative life, doing something useful. That's for me personally. And I know a lot of people feel at loss in a search of what their purpose are, what their passions are, what they wanted to do with their life. But even if it's not created a small business for themselves to live a life of freedom, work for themselves, even if they are looking for an answer after work, if they cannot find happiness, just hang out with friends, going to the clubs, drinking, and just throw away their life like dirt. I know there's a lot of people out there trying to find meaning within their life and find it hard to be found. But of course it is hard to be found. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of curiosity. It takes a lot of action. It takes a lot of trying to eventually find that purpose, that thing, that skill that is the closest to who you are. So I believe and I know, as long as you don't give up searching for answers, looking for the new possibilities and paths to live your life, you eventually will find the answers. It is understandable that you feel frustrated when you're trying to searching for the purpose, for the meaning, for the passion, for the new path for your life. Sometimes when you keep trying, keep searching, keep looking, keep learning, and the answer just won't come. I went through that just a couple months ago. But the same things happen all over again, is that in the desperations, as long as you don't give up and just keep hanging there, keep asking, keep searching, keep trying, keep doing, the answers and the help, eventually they will come to you. May take a little time, this is life. Life is incredibly hard on everyone. So my experience to share will always be that as long as you don't give up on yourself, as long as you don't give up on searching, you have a heart of a child in you, and use that curiosity to guide you, you will always find the answers and the path that you were looking for all of your life. And to put an end note on today's conversation, I just want to say it once again as a reminder that death comes for everyone at any moment, at any time. Life is unpredictable, and that is why life is precious. Let's just use this precious life to create something useful, meaningful, with a purpose to share with the people around us and to share with this world. Let's make this life worth a while.